Hi everyone! In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this embroidery of Brazilian rose. I will make it in 4 steps: the stems, the ribbons, the leaves, and the flowers at the end. It's fun and easy to make, so let's begin. First, use carbon paper to trace the pattern onto fabric. Here I use a pen in different color, so I won't miss any part. And for the fabric, I use linen. We will use 3 different needles, size 9, size 14, and a big plastic needle. Each thread has 6 strands. Here we will split in 2, we use 3 strands and simply tie a knot at the end. Stitch out from the bottom and then stitch in. That's your first stitch. For the second stitch, stitch out from the top part and then go back to stitch in the middle of the first stitch. Make one last stitch and this stem is finished, and we move on to the second one. We do the same, start from the bottom. We have finished stitching all the stems, and when you're finished, just simply turn it over, pull the needle through a couple times and make a cut. Now we will start to use chain stitch for the ribbons. We will change to use 2 strands for the ribbons. Stitch out and stitch in from the same spot, but don't pull yet. Stitch out again in between and pull. And then we will have the first chain. Stitch in inside the first chain and repeat. Start from here, this part of the ribbon is slightly wider, so one row of chain stitch cannot fill all this pattern, so we will keep the stitches slightly onto the left side, so we will have enough space to make a second row. And here we finish by making a tiny stitch on the last chain. Now we start to make a second row of chain stitch. Here we will make the chain stitch over the stems. Now we start to work on the leaves. Make one stitch in the middle, then one stitch on the right, another stitch on the left. Keep switching sides and every time stitch into this center line. There is a small part left. Here we will just continue to fill it. For this partial leaf, start by stitching a V shape. Then start filling it from the top to the bottom. Use leaf stitch for all the leaves. Now change color to finish these 3 leaves. Use lazy daisy stitch for these 2 small leaves. It's the same as the last stitch of a chain stitch. Make a loop and a small stitch on the loop. Change to a big needle and use 6 strands. Stitch out from the top and stitch in just the needle from the bottom. Then push the needle out next to the thread. Keep the needle on and make 5 turns. Hold it and pull. You might need to practice a few times before. Stitch in. That's 1 stitch. Repeat that 2 more times. Each time make 6 turns. That's a small rosebud. Now we will start to make the rose. Stitch out from the left side of this petal and then stitch in but just the needle. Stitch out again from the left, also just the needle. Now make 5 loops. Now hold these 5 loops and pull. Stitch in, and this petal is finished. Make another petal with 5 loops. Now make 3 petals with 7 loops. Now we will need to use a big plastic needle. If you don't have it, you can use a toothpick or anything in that size. Hold both needles and make 10 loops. Do the same for the second rows. That's all for this video. I hope you will like it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.